Hello, I'm Brendan Hogan, KBFT Program Director and teacher at Christian Brothers High School. This forum is designed for the teachers to take a moment to speak exactly to what we think we would love, right, in an ideal situation. What would make our classrooms, our school districts, our programs succeed. And we each kind of talked a little minute about this yesterday on the call, and it came pretty native to each and every one of us, our own specific areas. Is there anyone who wants to go first?
Okay.
Mike, yeah.
Okay. Test. Okay. This partnership project has allowed my students to engage in digital media and literacy, build on vital workplace communication skills, and build as citizens with character in our great community. Bella Vista High School is only represented here due to individuals, teacher and student. Many schools and districts have not accepted media arts as integral to their learning community. These few that come upon my single period of BVTV will inevitably be entering this world of technology armed with some of the skills needed, yet all students must have a handle on this changing world of digital knowledge. Every conceivable profession will include it. This grant has allowed students not even enrolled in my class to persevere on their own time while actually taking some of the most rigorous courses that they can in high school to succeed and hone their technological and social communication skills. They've gone above and beyond their high school calls of duty, but for the ones that I hold on high that succeed, we must consider the many that are sold a bad bill of goods. The artistic potential is wasted for requirements in other areas or due to lack of offerings. Every discipline, be it foreign language, physical education, or AP chemistry, can be positively affected by media. Students that produce tutorials on grammar, for example, are themselves learning more and showing it on those standardized tests that could never measure how much art played in their ability to study triangles and parabolas and all that other stuff that I leave up to those professionals. The now is critical. We must bring every Sacramento high school into our forum. We need to not just allow media courses to be taught, but we must invest time and money and believe in them with paid trainings for teachers and closer partnerships in the local and national community. But all of our students, though, not just these shining examples that you see today, will be running this world, and those that are prepared to embrace change and a new way of looking at education, they will succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And when we talk about investing in bringing this, we're talking hopefully about curriculum. And I know that Sherry wants to speak to that specifically.
Right, well, oh great, that one. Okay, they asked me to talk about curriculum because it's so important. Obviously, we have to teach our kids. But I want to kind of sidestep that just a little bit because it's not just about curriculum, because any one of us as a teacher can develop curriculum. But what we have to have is we have to have a curriculum that begins at kindergarten in the media arts, and it goes all the way through our community colleges and our universities. And we have to have a partnership with industry so that we know that what we're creating in our students will one day be beneficial to the employment. So, enough said.
Yeah, the idea being, we can't just, some of these grade schools are more advanced than our high schools. Because with a camera and a computer and access, these kids are creating wonderful, amazing projects. And you get to a high school that has nothing, and that just doesn't make sense. It's not logical. And I think if there's one thing education should be, is logical, right? Sid, you wanted to talk about a little bit about this, the union, or even the kind of social media aspect of the students coming together and creating kind of an association.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the students, and then I want to talk about a teacher association, pretty much the DAPP organization that we are all involved with. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but 15 years ago, I was one of these students up here on stage, showing my videos, and at that time, the Tower of Youth was really led by young people, and we had this idea of a youth broadcast media association. We called it YBAMA, and it was really very powerful and really motivated me to pursue media, and now I'm at the high school level teaching media, and I think it's really important that we look beyond our schools, our districts, our counties, and we talk about sharing curriculum and digital literacy, that we also think of independent organizations like a student media union that can have their own membership cards, that can have their own representation, their own board, and share with each other their best practices. Moving on to the adults now, we have this organization, the DAPP, Sacramento Sierra Digital Art Studio Partnership. It's awesome. It wasn't around when I was one of the youngsters, but we're all members of it. A lot of you guys are members of it, and that idea of having our adult union that gets to share our best practices, gets to support each other, get to hang out at events like this is a really good opportunity. And we work really hard beyond our responsibilities as school teachers, educators, driving our kids around to events like that, to also, especially Sherry, she's the one who's sending all the emails out on that group. But that from the community should also be supported. From the industry should also be supported. I think we should have a staff. I think that we should have a paid staff. I think regular emails instead of on top of what we're all doing with our other responsibilities would be really good. So if there's one thing that I would really like to see would be to support these independent membership organizations for the youth and for the adults. Thank you.
Yeah, and I know that Vern, you want to talk about a little bit more of supporting the teachers in that role in in helping us teachers learn this software and maybe a partnership with the professional industry.
Right. Professional development, training, certification, those are really important things where the teachers are supposed to be the experts, and we're really doing the very best we can to learn the software. There, every year a new version comes out, and then, or another piece of software that didn't exist comes out, and we have to be up to date with that. So training should be considered as part of what we do, and we have to do it on our own. In the private sector, if you have a company that really cares about their quality of their employees, they give them the training, they give them release time, they pay for it. But that doesn't happen in our field. So when we're teaching the software, the software manufacturers really are the benefactors, because our students become the consumers. We put those pieces of software in our labs, we pay for multiple licenses, and we update them. And we're selling that product, in essence, for the manufacturers. So they're really, I would like some type of partnership to exist where we're not beholden entirely to our own training, because that, well, you can see where that will lead. You see where that leads. We need release time, professional development, certification, and use of software that we regularly use, or what type of software might be most wise to teach. And now, I always say we don't teach software. I teach concepts. The software I use is almost irrelevant, except that there are pieces of software that are industry standard that you have to use in order to be competitive. So in order to maintain high and rigorous standards for what accomplished teachers should know and be able to do, private support and funding will be required. And when it comes to quality public education programs for young people, private sources of support will make a big difference, especially in these financial times. Every teacher should have an opportunity to receive training and certification. Teachers need to be experts in their fields. And when that happens, we then transfer that high degree of excellence to our students, and then the students would possibly also receive certification, and that'll lead to a qualified, well-trained workforce that California needs. And we just listened to a man talk about how he has to hire employees from other countries because he can't find them in California. He's not finding them in Sacramento. And that's what we're here for, and yet our hands are tied. So we need assistance.
Yeah. I always use this analogy. If you teach history, George Washington's always the first president of the United States. Every book you get, right? Even if you're teaching world history, he's still the first president. Every new textbook I get is completely different from the one I had before. And I get a new textbook every 3 years, right? In 3 years, it's kind of dead. I actually stopped using it the third year. So imagine that's what us, this is what we face. This isn't the same class over and over. It's revolutionizes itself every year. It's different. Not only the technology, but the software. And if you're not certifying or training us in it, or if we don't have a curriculum and we know what to teach, and if we don't have some associations where we can bang our heads together and say, what the hell am I going to do tomorrow, or next week, or next year, or do you know a good camera to buy, or how do you even teach After Effects? And if we don't have a class, how can we do this? And when we sit up here and we talk about this, what are we talking about? We're talking about media literacy. And you can break it down in any different kind of form. It can be journalism, it can be film production, it can be web design. But when journalism was taught in high school, it was standard. No one saw it, a newspaper's too expensive, we don't need it. We shouldn't teach people how to write, report, or be activists in their communities. But now we kind of look around and go, well, it's really expensive to put a TV station together. But this is what our kids are involved in. This is the world they consume. They grow up with Facebook. They didn't know a world without it. And how do we teach them that these are powerful and also dangerous tools? By helping them create it, by letting them be the new industry standard, the new amazing, relevant youth. They have to have this stuff in their hands, and it has to be shown how to use it in a productive way. So I hope that you take something away from this, go home, tell everyone that you see, and tell them what you saw here today. Tell them the work that you saw, the teachers who are passionate and who meet on a regular basis to try to make this area stand out among all others. Sacramento Sierra Digital Arts Studio Partnership. Thank you very much.